computers need to use data. And the way that the computer handles that data is different in different languages. They all have different data types. So for example, if you wanted to store a name, you'd store it as text. A piece of text must have quotation marks around it. So if I wanted to type in Andy Wicks, I'd type in quotes, Andy, space, Wicks, quotes. That's handled as a long list of bytes. A byte is a whole block of memory in the computer, 8 bits. Numbers are handled totally differently. A byte holds a number between minus 127 and plus 127. Floating point numbers are held differently again. Floating point numbers have a much larger number of bytes required, whereas whole numbers, ones without floating points, use fewer. You can then have dates. A date has hatch marks around it. So today's date is the 3rd of August 2011, so it'd be hatch 0308 2011 hatch. Another data type is the Boolean data type. That's either true or false. So for example, did you turn up to your lecture on time? Not nearly or maybe. You either did or you didn't. That's Boolean. Then there are text files. A text file is an area on your hard disk or on your USB that the computer sets aside for you to do some reading or writing of text. It's ever only text that gets handled. Everything else has to be converted to text and then either stored or read. And finally, you could have a list. So you could have a list of 10 names or a list of 20 ages. If you had a list of 10 names, you'd have names 10 as text, or ages 20 as integer. A list is just a convenient way of holding several pieces of information. Now, having these different data types has several advantages. First of all, you can get the program to check whether the user has entered something correctly. So if you want the user to enter their age and they enter their name instead, well, integer obviously won't go into a text file. Also, it makes the storage of the data more efficient. If your program knows what sort of data it's handling, it knows how best to store it. Now, in the days that we have now, where RAM is very big, you may think that's not a consideration. But you probably have a mobile phone in your pocket, and at the moment, the amount of space on that is limited. So again, the data types come in handy.